And I think we're live. Kevin Nations, everybody. How you doing, Kevin?
Man, it's been a long time since we've chatted, so
It
glad to be
has
here.
been a long time, and we have absolutely no idea what we are going to chat about at all. And I'm kind of excited about that because I kind of like to go with the flow.
Well, we'll just set up how this all got started. About 15 minutes ago, you posted.
I
It's like
did.
who's brave enough to go live with me? I saw you sitting here at the desk, which is rare. I'm usually out walking and missing you. I just was excited to have a chance to chat. So now we get to do it live in front of whoever's watching.
Yeah, I had no idea who would chime in, and I'm happy that it was you. It's interesting in life when opportunities pop up. They tend to not pop up in the way that someone may be prepared for, or you never know. And not that this is some life changing opportunity for you to be on the Prophet Moffatt show, but what compelled you to not only just say yes to hop on to me here, but what compels you to, just take chances in life in general?
I mean, you can take a chance like this and perhaps go down in flames or have a great outcome. Or you can not take a chance and guarantee you go down in flames because, not trying is guaranteed forfeit.
Totally.
So why not just, failure is much better than forfeiting.
Can you think of a time that you took a chance and you just went down in flames and totally failed?
Right now, no, but give me like 2 minutes. I'm sure there's like thousands of them, way more than times that I've done something great.
I
Um,
remember I remember when I was wanting to try stand-up comedy, mostly because I knew how difficult it was. It's terrifying. And I did a couple sets at the Comedy Store, which is, one of the best places anybody could ever tell jokes at. And it's crazy that I started at the pinnacle, as far as clubs. And I think it was like my third set, and all of a sudden, like the day before, I was like, I don't want to do dirty sex or drug jokes or profanities or anything. I was like, I'm going to do a clean Seinfeld style set. And I wrote all new jokes for a 5 minute spot the day before. And dude, it did not go. I didn't bomb, but it did not go very well. And that was a very difficult decision to make.
I think, I run little events and it's kind of what I'm known for is running little events. And there's been several times after I had been in the business for probably at least 10 years. If you say you're going to do an event nobody buys, well, that's no big deal. But if you say you're going to do an event one person buys, and we got Matt Gill in the house,
We
guys. So
do.
we've got to tell some humdinger stories to keep them here. But like if you do an event, nobody comes, then you're like, you know, no harm, no foul. The world forgets. But there's
Yeah.
been several times in life that I've said, and after I'd been doing events for a while and was like Mr. Small Events, big money, all of this, and like one person signed up, and I've just went ahead and held them, and turned out to be some of the greatest times. One of the events I did, I met another Jason. I'd known of him, but Jason Hornung, and we worked together and became friends. And so there's been lots of times when what might I don't know that there is any such thing as failure. You fall on your face, you learn a lesson. Something great comes out of it when you thought it was going to be small. But I know the day I went and I had a house out in Henderson, Nevada, that I moved into, directly moved into, and you moved into the place I vacated in La Jolla
Yeah.
when I moved into that house. And so I called Jason and I was like, well, good news is I got some good news and bad news. The good news is there's only one person coming to my event. Bad news is only one person coming to my event. So we can just sit there and work stuff out. So Professionally, that might be what somebody might think is the highlight of failure, but it's always been pretty fun for me. We spent 3 days together and then worked together for a couple years, still connect and are great friends. And I couldn't imagine, not going forward and doing that. What would have come of it if Jason and I hadn't become friends? You know?
Yeah, I actually just reconnected with him last week, actually. I was looking for somebody who's skilled with ads, and I know that he is. And I'm actually moving back to Oregon, and he lives in Oregon, and we both snowboard. And so it's like, hey, let's go ride and chat some biz. And I think I actually met you very first time at one of your events. Um, what was it called? Small events, big money, or
Was that in the Mirage?
it was at the Mirage, and it was
Oh, was
so
that when we first met? Yeah.
it was brilliant because at the time the Mirage had the Beatles Cirque du Soleil show, which was Love, and it incorporated so much of that into your event, and it felt like just a really big love fest, and
Yeah, that was the name of that event. That must have been in 2009. Is love your clients, love your business, love your life. First quarter of 2009 is when I think that event I did that.
yeah, we got good old Sean Vossler in the house.
Oh,
I've stayed in Sean Vossler's house before too. Took care of his cats.
dude, I cannot ever get Sean Vossler to return a call. This is like I get to go on live and say that I'm a super fan of Sean Vossler. And he obviously must think that I am just like the lowest of the low because he'll never return a call or a text, just on perma ignore. I
Yeah,
still love
well,
him, still think the world of him.
I'm a great middleman, and I just brought him here to return the call. We got another fine gentleman in the house too, Mr. Michael Neal. I love
Yeah,
Michael.
I
Michael's one
don't
of the
know
best
about
dudes
that
around.
dude. He's kind of suspect, but no, I love Michael too. One of probably the most, if not the most, one of the most underrated marketers in the business. The dude is a super successful person and so humble.
Um, yeah, that Beatles event though, it was incredible, and um, it kind of changed my thinking about events and about just monetization and making lots of money without having a billion things going on. And I think around that time too was, and you've been true to this for a long time, but I remember back then so many marketers were getting huge offices with call centers and employees, and I don't really know what sparked it, but it seemed to be kind of a trend. And then maybe it was the housing crisis and everything kind of started going down for some people. But your model always appealed to me because I'm not someone who likes to work extra hard. I don't mind hard work, but I don't like to do hard work for the sake of hard work. I like to, I was an underachiever always at heart. I wanted to make the most amount of money, have the most amount of impact, while still being able to do the things that I loved. And that love event was great. Everybody was cuddly, telling each other they loved each other. They seemed to be getting tons of value. It just seemed brilliant all around.
That's how you get them, man. Not telling them that you love, but like really, when you have a really small group of clients, and I do, and I've never really had this big group of clients, just a few here and there, but you can really get in and help them. And one good thing about having just a few clients is that you get some great people through. If you start having a bunch, then they might be great, they might not, they get lost in the cracks. So we got so many people here commenting. I never knew this is the key to my popularity. Can we just come on often and like I could
Yeah.
totally re-engineer a comeback just comp on the shoulders of Prophet Moffatt.
Well, we could turn this into like a roast. Like everyone who leaves a comment, we just horrendously trash them. Matt Gill would be easy place to start.
Well, yeah, it's like this dude has been, his favorite pastime is just making just enough money to buy himself a Salesman of the Month trophy. He has a whole room in his house that are just lined with Salesman of the Month trophies that he buys for himself, gives to himself, awards himself.
Well, I
No, man,
think
you gotta
I,
stay
I
around. You can't stay for the roast beef. We could just call it the birria.
I want to say to Matt Gill, like I need an assist award or something because I'm me and my partner. I think we're either number 3 or number 4 earners of all time on his offer. So I'm part of the reason that he keeps getting the Salesman of the Month club thing.
Yeah.
Send me my checks. Actually, what's great about working with Matt is I don't have to actually tell him to send me my checks. He always sends the checks, and
Oh, let's talk about secrets of getting rich in this industry. Well, here's number one. When you owe somebody money, actually pay them. Let's just get into real secrets of this is boys and girls. This is how to get rich in the biz. When you owe somebody money, send it to them.
yeah. Well, Matt does something brilliant too. Is he sends you money really fast, like right after the promo. He's like, "Here's 75% of it right away." And I was talking with Bond Halbert the other day, obviously the son of the late great Gary Halbert, and we were talking about how funny it is that like if you don't pay somebody your money, they'll remember. They'll be like, "Remember that $400 back in '98?" Like they'll never forget when you don't pay somebody. And I have some gurus out there, like 3, 4 thousand bucks that they didn't pay me. And I like the guys and I want to continue to do business with them, but I cannot forget that 4 grand they stiffed me on. I just can't. And it seems so silly because it was affiliate money, which is essentially free money. And like, how do you screw up free money and potentially more free money? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to name any names, but it's shocking because everybody watching here knows the guy that stiffed me, and I hate that.
And but for the love of Prophet Moffatt, for the low price of $4,000, he could be being roasted right now
Oh,
on the Profit and Roast show for 4 grand, and it could cost him. A lesser man might actually go ahead and name names, and probably people do like in whispers talk quietly, and people don't realize how much little bit. Yeah, pay everyone, snow no one. Exactly. Oh, you're not. You said you were number three,
I said 3 or 4. It looked like
3 or 4.
number 4.
Well, so
Yeah,
exactly how many commissions does he need to make to get into number three? Because we
I'm
just
not sure, but dude, I'm not happy because like 2 days ago, I had to send a bunch of that to the feds. So
October 15th, every
yeah,
marketer's favorite day of the year.
every day, yeah. So what do you got going on now? I love it that you and I are kind of similar in a sense that a lot of people, have been watching us for years and they kind of know what we do, but they don't know what we do. And you are kind of great at me not. I kind of know what you do, but I don't think a lot of people do. Do you mind telling us what you do?
Um, well, you mentioned back in the day, a lot of people were doing this big complex stuff, and I've just kept it simple. And it could be because I'm really smart and I just have figured it all out. And it just as easily could be I'm really stupid and I don't know how to do it the way everybody else does. And I think the answer is probably a little bit of both. That when I went to my first event, I had had a really successful career in sales and built a multi 7-figure company and sold it. And I went to San Francisco for, I think it was the third big seminar. It's about 21 years ago. And I saw these great people, Jonathan Mizell and who else was there? Frank was there. and a number of other people up on stage, and they were all talking about build these big lists and build this big mailing list and everything. I think Russell Brunson was there talking about how to um, sell courses on how he uh, made a spud gun or something like that. And I didn't know how to do that, but I had sold like tens of millions of dollars. So I signed up for a course by J. Conrad Levinson and taught some of the people in there that were learning marketing from him and some of his other teachers. I just started telling them how to sell, and they started selling higher ticket stuff, and it just kind of evolved. And I never learned any of this building a list or emailing people. Like you talked about making, what was it, $392,000 on commissions. I'm assuming that's from sending emails.
Yeah,
And
it's
I haven't sent a group email in probably 8 years, like not even one group email, even to existing clients, like saying, here's when my event is. I just put them in a Facebook group and like, hey, here's when my event details are. And I go down and literally video myself in front of the entrance of where they have to come, which is the front door to my house. Um, so, what am I doing now? I think probably for people who have something really valuable, I'm kind of like a cult deprogrammer for marketers that want to do something simpler. And I'm not saying simpler is better, but if you want to do it simpler, simpler is better. And I just tell them they can. That's about it. I mean, that's really been the whole shtick for all this time. Some people want to do it really complicated and they have the skills to do it really complicated. And some people either don't have the skills or don't want to, but they have a really valuable skill of what they can teach or share or deliver. And so I just help them see that it could be done that way. And that's pretty much it. It's just more like um, I don't really have any mad insights or anything like that, but I do have a pretty fair dose of common sense. And fortunately for me, common sense isn't always common practice. So after all these years, I'm still getting paid to just kind of share with some people some common sense and help them have the courage to break away from being overwhelmed. That's really about it in a nutshell. And that's not being humble. That's just the straight up truth of what is.
yeah. I think if someone were to ask me, what it is you did, I guess I would think kind of along the lines of like maybe Al Reese, Jack Trout, positioning. That book, Positioning. It seems like you're really smart about how to position an offer or yourself and to simplify it as much as possible because your positioning has always been really great. And I feel like the people that I've heard sing praises about you, you've given them a lot of clarity on how they should position whatever it is they're doing, whether that's to simplify or, whatever that may be. But that's what comes to mind when I think of you. Because I don't really know how to give it any real super specifics other than
Well,
like,
I think that succeeding in business, and you just mentioned that there was somebody who I think you would even agree, likely, I don't know the situation, but you would even agree that if the person who owed you $4,000 didn't owe you $4,000, everything else about them is really cool, right?
totally. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really I dig them. I
So
think that they're
I think so many people lose it in this industry by one or two simple cracks in the armor that they never reconcile, either not delivering on something or not paying somebody some small amount or promising something. I happened to see, I was in some Facebook group, and I'm usually quiet in those, but it was a bigger Facebook group. And I think you're in this group too. And somebody mentioned the other day that oh, I know you're in because you commented. So somebody was like, oh, I am doing some agency work, and the most clients I've ever gotten somebody is 20 clients. And so I put out an offer with a guarantee that I could get 50 clients in 30 days. And and then I've only gotten them 3 clients, and I'm worried that they might want their money back. And in my mind, you were like, well, first of all, you went at it from a different approach because I remember your response now. It's like, well, why would somebody want 50 clients. And then I had another smart ass approach. It's like, well, what if it'd been $100 bills and you had charged them 5 grand and they sent you 3 real ones and, was it 47 counterfeit ones? And they would been wondering, oh, I wonder if he's going to get mad about it. Well, of course he's going to get mad about it. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes they might not have even needed to make that promise. There's people that are promising things they know they can't deliver, and then worried when people find out. So it really is. It's not that hard to make it in this industry. It's like figure out something you can do that's really helpful, get good at it, help people, charge a fair price, tell the truth. It's kind of easy.
What would you say? Like, I have an issue that I have always struggled with, and I've never not fulfilled with a client because that, I just can't do that. It's against like my moral character of how I am. But a lot of times being so ADHD and idealistic and having millions of ideas, and I will just shoot the ideas off really fast, whether it's typing or talking them out. And I say, oh, I want to do this, or I think I could do this. And so I come up with like 20 great ideas. And then when the dust settles tomorrow, um, I have too many. I can never fulfill on all of them. And it could appear as if like I don't follow through because I have too many freaking ideas. And I've often struggled with that. I'm like, how do I either turn off the ideas or do I just zip my lips or whatnot? But I tend to, because in my mind, I think too, is like if I talk it out loud, I can kind of like begin to manifest it. Like it won't ever happen if I don't have the idea, then articulate the idea, maybe talk about the idea more, and then it motivates me to actually do it. But I have too many ideas to the point I can't do them all. My question to you is, what do I, in your opinion, what would you advise someone like me who has too many ideas?
Well, first of all, I would say the worst thing somebody can do is think that anything they're doing is wrong. I mean, unless it's unethical. But if it's just a matter of practice, like, first of all, I don't think it's wrong. Because I've run into this on the exact opposite side of the spectrum. I'll sit there and try to perfect an idea and not execute on it for like, I don't even want to, like 10 years. Like there's things that I've thought about doing that I did early in my career, thought about doing again. And I've sat on them for like years and years and years and years and years. So I'm kind of at the opposite end of the spectrum from you. And I would say the first thing you can do is just, and this is anybody, first of all, if you're watching us live, fortunately, if you're fortunate enough to be live, or on some recording, if Jason throws this out into the interwebs. Your combination of like magic and perfection and effed uppery all in one big blended mix, and you can see yourself however you want to see. If you want to see how effed up you are, it's right there on display. If you want to see how awesome you are, that's right there on display. And so the first thing I would say is, you know, don't judge yourself for that. Just ask yourself like why that's the best way for you to be and enroll with it. And because there's got to be benefits to it. And if you look, you're going to find either the benefits or you're going to find why it's the worst thing in the world. You could probably find both of those. And I don't think, I just had a call about an hour before this finished up with some clients of mine, and I was talking to one of my clients about taking personal responsibility. And I was like, the truth is really subjective. Some truths. I mean, gravity's not, math is not, owing people money's not, morality's not. But like the truth of, do I have too many ideas, too few, whatever, subjective. And I was like, look for the one that's the most useful. And I think the most useful one for you is to be, I was made like this, or I've developed like this because it's the most useful. So how do I take advantage of it rather than looking at it as many of us do? Oh, we're screwed up because blah, 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 blah. So like,
Yeah.
how is it a blessing?
Well, Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I like the fact that I'm even willing to, to express something that, might not be praise about myself, or, have the vulnerability to talk about it like that. Um, when you say look back, like, I can't look at my own videos. Like, I can't watch myself, or I'll delete it because I'm so self-critical. I'll see something, I'm just like, delete, delete. I don't watch anything of myself. Um, which has also prevented me, from going live today. It's like I almost just have to do an impromptu thing. If I would have thought about this, I might have canceled. I've canceled, bro. I'm not kidding. I've canceled easily 100 podcasts. The last 100 podcasts I've agreed to go on in the last 10 years, I've canceled. I think almost, I would say 98 of them, and because I just get paranoid, like thinking, "Oh man, what's this guy gonna do in 2 years?" And now I got a video of me sitting side by side with him, and he's all over CNN or whatever it is. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got clients like that that blew up and conquered the world, and here I'm just still sitting back in my condo, chilling and helping just a few people. So
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, you're in Vegas there.
I am. Yeah.
I had a great idea for a condo in Vegas, and actually, I'm about to potentially revisit it. And back in around 2008, when that housing crisis hit, you could buy a studio at the Palms for about $75,000. And my thinking was, I was like, let's buy this studio, let's rent it as a short-term Airbnb, let's completely deck it out with Beatles posters, we'll get a Technics 1200 record player, we'll get all the Beatles albums so that they can spin we'll just Beatlefy the entire apartment, and then maybe even give them tickets to the Cirque show. Dude, like, if you're a Beatles fan, you're like, what suite do you want to stay in? You want to stay in the Sergeant Pepper suite for sure. And so it got me thinking, just theme wise, like even right now, I was about to buy an old bus. It doesn't even run. $3,000 for this old school bus, and I was like, dude, we could paint this thing like the Partridge Family and build an apartment in it, Airbnb it for 150 bucks a night, and they could have reruns, VHS tapes. They could watch Partridge Family inside the dang thing. And so just seeing you in Vegas just sparked that idea in my mind. What'd you think? You think I got a solid business idea?
I think you should act on it. I'll tell you, I've had this Chillionaire brand for about 12 years. And about a year ago, my daughter, who works for me now, told me that I needed to start wearing. I was giving away swag to my clients and everything, but I never wore any. I just always incognito, slipping in and out of my building. People asked what I did publicly, and I was like, I have a few real estate rentals in Columbus, Ohio. Like that was my intro to anybody that around here that asked what I did.
So easy. No one's following up on that.
Exactly. And it's true, I have a few, but I mean, it's not anything notable. So, uh, my daughter bought me a few t-shirts and said, "You need to wear these, Dad. It's like, it's good for like the people who are clients of yours to see that." I started wearing them and people started stopping me in the street and they're like, "Oh my God, it's such a good brand. What's Chillionaire all about?" I haven't really started developing it yet, but I'm going to develop it even more, like helping people um, in ways more than just our little industry. And so, like when an idea comes, especially like that, you can be in it for what, maybe 15,000 by the time you get the thing, done, and you get all the VHS tapes off of eBay and the
Yeah,
VHS player from the local, thrift store. Um, then you're in it for that. How would you have spent 15 grand otherwise? It's just going to sit in your account.
totally.
And if you do that, even if it doesn't pan out financially, you've kind of exercised that muscle of doing what you felt like you should,
Well,
you
my
know?
my thinking is kind of, because I like to be safe. I don't usually like to take big risks because I don't think it's necessary most of the time. So
Yeah.
my thinking was, grab grab these old buses. Yeah, about 10 grand to probably remodel them and to turn them into a cool little space to sleep in, but then to put them on other people's property and they manage like the day to day, this changing of the sheets. You kind of give them the template of what they need to do, and then you split the revenue with them. And if you can make it work with them, and maybe, maybe you find a sailboat that isn't sailing anymore and you prop that thing up into the treehouse or something. Um, Sailboat might be a little different because it's moving, but the bus you can move in and out. If somebody default and wasn't doing their part, if you could make the model work with a couple people, you might be able to make it work with 20, 30 people. Now, that's starting to get to a big business and a lot of moving parts that I don't like. But I recognize that there's other people that love that kind of thing. And so I'm just trying to think of like creating the model and then selling that model to somebody else. And
But somebody, I mean, like, why not start with the first, just get the first partridge bus and enjoy it? And so you put it in somebody else's property and you end up making, hundreds of dollars a month out of it. You've done something you're enjoying. Somebody else has a little bit of income. It doesn't have to be 392,000. Like, and dude, the Jillionaire or Gillionaire, however you
yeah,
want to,
yeah.
that's such a
Imagine,
good
imagine this. You go
get it
find
myself.
you go find the old Gilligan's Island boat, the same boat, and then you go and you put it in the backyard and you kind of tip it and you break a hole in it, and then you do like a tiki hut next to it. Right? You redo a whole Gilligan
Put it
scene.
in Matt's backyard. He could be put it in the Matt Gill, the Gillionaire's Island.
You
Just
know,
like blend those two brands and put it in Matt's backyard and let him manage it for you.
perfect. I think with your shirt, the Chillionaire thing too. I don't think a lot of people realize how easy it is nowadays to create a shirt from a print on demand company and just send it right directly to yourself. Like myself, like
And
I don't.
you can do it on Canva for like probably $25, including express shipping, and it's a good shirt.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just go there, make the design, and then click,
And
make this a shirt and send it to me, and it'll be there in 3 or 4 days. So if you got an idea, do it.
I'm very picky about the things I'll wear on cam
Uh,
or even just out in public. Like if I'm not sponsored by you or I'm not like I'm a huge advocate. I love Robert's honky tonk bar. I mean, it's partly why I moved to Nashville. I love it, so I wear it, but I won't wear brand name stuff very, very rarely. But I will wear my own clothes. I probably have 12 shirts that I've created of just random things because I liked it, logo or weird NFT. I like my NFT and I printed it on a shirt and wore it. But if you have a business out there, regardless of what it is, you could have gear by the end of the week and you should be wearing it or consider wearing it in your videos.
it will make a big difference. And if you don't have a brand that is really notable, then create a tagline. I created one that had an unexpected result. I have a little tagline for Chillionaire that says "Have fun, get rich," and I started wearing that shirt and it said "Have fun, get rich." Got a Chillionaire down there. And most of the people it helped me with marketing my business because most of the people that stopped me in Vegas told me, "Oh, you got that shirt on upside down." The angle is get rich, have fun. That's what they told me. And I was like,
Oh,
no, 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 no.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
it helped me refine what the message I wanted and go in. I had done it that way kind of by accident. But then I started realizing that that's the way that a lot of people thought. And it's like, no, like you don't get rich and have fun. And this, like a little, I guess, sermon or something for people on here. That's just not how life works. People buy from people who enjoy being themselves. And if you go into like um, a lot of Facebook groups of people who are asking for advice, and I'm in a few, not many. Usually, the people who are asking for advice are trying to be something other than who they already are, or they're
So,
not having fun doing what they're doing. They're doing something miserable for money. And I'll tell you, like doing something you don't like for money I live in Vegas. I'm just going to use Vegas language. Makes you a hoe. Well, hoeing ain't fun because you
Yeah.
got some pimp that's just like out there pushing you around. I know this is kind of direct language, but boys and girls, for the love of everything holy, if you want to get rich in any currency, first of all, find something you like waking up in the morning and doing, and that's your thing. And then just get good enough at it that you can make a living in it. Don't be saying, what is going to pay me the money and I'll learn to like it. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm a perfect example. I mean, all these guitars and studio gear you see behind me, it's what I like to do with my life. And I actually just walked away from a business, the business that generated all that affiliate commissions with Gil down there. A very healthy 7-figure business, paid me very, very well. I walked away from it. Like, me and my partner didn't have a falling out. Nothing was bad or anything, but I just wanted to pursue what I loved. And I didn't dislike what I was doing, but I didn't love it. I didn't wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I want to run into my studio and grab my Les Paul and play it." But I do here, and I make significantly less doing this business, but I get significantly more like enjoyment out of it. And I know if I continue to do it, it's going to pay off in spades for sure. And I just need to treat I still treat it like a hobby, and I haven't treated it like a real business. And it'll be interesting what I need to do to kind of make that shift.
I think I'm 20, 21 years into a hobby. Like my business is kind of like a hobby. Like I help just a small number of people. I have a small number of clients. I mentioned I don't send out email marketing or anything like that. I have a little bit of an email list, but I don't send them any emails. It's all just previous clients. Most everything that every client that I get comes directly from referral, and I just help them, and that's really it. And it's not some big, huge structured thing, but I do really care about them and help them. So, but that's what I enjoy doing, is taking calls from them, figuring out how to help them, and hopefully it's worth what they pay me. Some of them have paid me for years and years and years, so I guess for them it is.
Yeah, man, that's great.
Do
You
what-
see,
do what's fun. The money will probably come into alignment if you're doing what's fun and helpful, versus the fun coming into alignment if you're doing what's profitable and miserable.
yeah. Well, it was interesting too. I was thinking, like, what am I going to do to pay the bills? Because I've become accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and I need a certain monthly nut every month to get by. And I decided, as like, well, I'm really good at teaching how to write copy. And so I was like, let's do this writing class. I didn't even have a name for it. I just didn't want to use the word copywriting. It's like, let's just call it the writing class. And I just, like you, I was like, I just want a small group of people just to get started. If I have 5 or 6 people, and I'm working off an old email list of like 4,000 people that I've ignored for 6, 7 years. I was like, maybe if I get 5 or 6 people to pay me $1,000, it'll force me to have to finish this class. And it's something that I really enjoy doing. So I was like, I don't mind working with just 5 or 6 people. Well, 27 people signed up for the class. And I was like, holy crap, I made 27 grand this week. I was not expecting that at all. And I really have enjoyed it. And I'm enjoying it still. I'm like on month 8 right now. And because of AI and all the new advancements and the research capabilities and the oh my God, I'm having a blast. And it's incredibly
When did it
lucrative.
start?
Uh, Beginning of the year, like February, maybe.
Did you just take a new cohort in? Because I thought I saw you like offer that recently, or am I
Yeah,
just?
no, I actually I started accepting other people, and had another, I don't know, dozen signups last week or so. And
So it's 1,000 a month? Is that what it
no,
is?
no, it's only $1,000 because I'll probably charge, I don't know, 5 grand or so, but I just need to finish the full year out. So I have
Okay.
like 4 more modules left. So I've been hooking people up at $1,000 a pop to get
Well, if you
in.
know if you raise the money, then you could have Gil promote it and have all of Gil's people promote it. They've got to be able to afford. You need to raise it to where people can profit from getting it in front of other people. And
Yeah,
I know you say you want, and obviously, like that's another thing. I mean, you want to finish the year, and I can respect that, and I think that's wise. But at the end of the year, you could raise it. That's another, trick. Pay people on time. Actually, do what's fun. Another carefully guarded, I'm laughing because it's not carefully guarded secret, is play the long game. It's really really hard when you're out trying to play the short game in our competitive space, and you're competing against people who are playing the long game that are taking a year to get something dialed in, and you need to sell it and make money and get it delivered and be on to the next thing in 2 weeks. Well, the guy that's got the time to, where they're at, means that they uh, really push hard and promote hard, or it means that they reduce their spending just a little bit so they can afford to get it right for a bit. The guy that has time to play the long game, or gal, is going to fare, generally speaking, better than the person who's always behind the eight ball for cash.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to. I'm definitely looking at this long game because, like, I want something at the end of the year that I'm incredibly proud of, that I can sell for 5, 10 years, or however long I want to keep doing this.
So what
And
is it? What is it teaching people how to do? How to write what?
well, I break down every month something different. Like, so month one, I teach you how to write a sales letter. Step two, it's just all email marketing stuff. Month three is how to write a webinar. Month four is a VSL. So I kind of break down all the different elements of copy. There's a month in there on how to get clients, and then there's another module or a whole other product too, where I teach, hey, instead of getting clients, why don't you take your skills and go out there and get an equity position in some company, which is what I've always done. I don't really take on clients, and so it's like, would I rather make $10,000 a gig, or $1 million a gig? So obviously, if you take an equity thing, it usually involves a little bit more than just writing copy. But
And you're selling all this right now for a
I still
thousand
don't.
bucks, and it gets the people get it delivered over a year.
Yeah. Well,
What what's
yeah,
the URL to sign up? Is it still open, this cohort, or did you close it out?
dude, let me see. I can actually.
Just open it back
I,
up, and let's put this on YouTube, and
yeah, no, it is
I'll
open.
send it. I'll send a link out and say we talked, and tell people to
I
fast
think I
forward
even,
to
I think I even
40
have.
minutes point.
Yeah, check it out. I can even show it here. If you go
Yeah,
to jasonmoffat.com/writers,
I'll sign up for it.
it's in the Rich Writers Guild.
if I can't if I can't make $1,000 with all of that, if it made me
Um,
send one email, this is how I started working with Frank Kern. Is that you know that I worked with him for a little while, back maybe about a decade ago, maybe longer, like 13 years ago,
it was
something.
right when I took. It's right about the time I think I moved into your apartment.
That was right as we finished. This so it was about a
Uh,
year before that,
okay.
because I had moved into there when we were working together. And how that happened was I had a high value on people coming to my events, but he and Brendan Burchard taught something. And I was like, if I could just get one more person ever to an event, um, then it'd be worth signing up for this thing they taught. And then we met, and it ended up we worked together for a little bit and did really well. But yeah, if I couldn't make $1,000 with, like, even if it just forced me to write one email. If I wrote one email and sent it to like the 1,800 people or so I have on my list, most of which have spent in the multiple tens of thousands of dollars with me. If I just wrote one email and sent it, I'd probably make tens of
Yeah.
thousands, if not hundreds, over 100,000. So yeah, I'll sign up for it. jasonmoffat.com/writers or writer.
Yeah. /writers.
All right. I'm going to send out I don't want any affiliate commission for it, but I'm going to send out Are you going to put this up somewhere? This
It's already up. I think there's a sales letter and everything right
no.
there.
I'm talking about this video.
Oh, this video? Yeah, yeah. It's so this video is actually right now streaming multiple places. We're on Facebook, we're on
Oh, cool.
YouTube, we're on maybe Twitter. I don't think we're on Twitter. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitch. All the video, it's probably like one video game nerd
Moly.
guy watching us.
Wow. Well, I'll find one of the things and I'll just tell him. I looked up at the time when you started talking about it. I'm just going to tell him ignore everything in the beginning and just go to the 40-minute point and hear Jason talking about his
That's
great
funny.
offer.
I just looked on here. Yeah, there is one video game nerd on Twitch. Give me a shout out, Twitch guy.
Twitch guy. We're just going to start naming. What are we going to name Matt Gill?
Oh boy, what are we not going to name Matt Gill? Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I like Gillionaire is pretty darn good.
I like that.
Matt saying come on to his video next. Well, hey man, I really appreciate you coming on here,
Dude,
and
I've enjoyed it. I'm glad we got the chat. I haven't had a chance to talk to you in a while. So if for
yeah,
nothing else, just for us to have an excuse to connect, and we got to talk to Vossler, who else? Michael Neal, Brandy Weber, John Leonard was on here a little bit ago. Some of your friends and stuff. Yeah, I see now all this Facebook. Sheila, look at this,
yeah.
Lee. All sorts of great people.
Yeah, yeah, no, I love it. I actually, I'm glad I did this too because I might just make this my format in the future. I mean, the preparation is great because it requires none. I had to put on a shirt, but I didn't have to. But yeah, I kind of like I
You're
like
not in
long.
Top Bill Mankini shape right now, so you went and put one on anyway.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind showing my Burt Kreischer belly. I'm okay. I don't know. I don't know how other people feel, but I remember, gosh, I've had people like lecture me about wearing a shirt on video and stuff because
On
I
live.
spent eight years in Hawaii. I mean, like I would go a month without wear. I'd go to the deli without a shirt or shoes, and it's fine. So it would be funny to have people tell me how I need to show up, and I was just like, okay, I'm wearing the speedos next time, bro.
Well, yes, Matt, I'll come on a show with you at some point. I don't know what we'll talk about, but if you can get Devon on at the same time, it'd be really, really good if we could all talk about this heavy competition for the number one rep in the Gill companies. Jason, thanks, man.
Yeah, you want to plug anything? You don't plug really, but if you want to, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I likely am gonna do an event in January that I'll start sharing some stuff about. It's probably going to be pretty good. It's not going to be a lot of marketing info, but it really is. I think right now people just one of the biggest things is people just I think need to be reminded that it's okay to be themselves. And so there's not going to be any groundbreaking stuff shared. Just for the record, I'm going on the record with that, but it'll just be a reminder of how to have fun being yourself, kind of like that big love fest that you talked about a while
Y-
back. And
y-
so that's going to be in January. I might start talking about that on Facebook. So if you guys are so inclined, I'd
Yeah,
appreciate if you
I
came
like
out.
that. I wrote a book called The Art of Authenticity about 10 years ago. And it really talked about, like you are like the secret weapon. The individual you, everything that makes you unique is the thing that can make all of this work. And of course, we're not all where we might want to be, but I feel like if you can just embrace yourself and just work on getting a little better every day, like people are so encouraging and supportive of anybody, no matter where they are, if they're clearly trying to get to another place. And we always want to see people win, whether that's, in the movies we watch or the stories that we tell. And people will be very supportive of that if they feel like that you're being genuine and authentic. And I think especially in the world of AI that we're getting into now, where so much is not authentic, um, I think more than ever, your unique characteristics and traits and the things that make you you are becoming more valuable every day. And so in the future, we're going to pine for someone like Bob Dylan, who's just standing there with a guitar and singing, just doing their unique individual thing. And it's so easy for us to get caught up into the easiness of AI and pushing a button and creating something that's incredible. Well, yeah, it is incredible, but probably not as incredible as you are.
That's true. I mean, look at some of the highest paid actors. We've got Danny DeVito, definitely not your stereotypical, he-man or handsome man or whatever, and he's out there just loved by everybody.
He's great.
For a lot of years, Adam Sandler, he's certainly not going to win any Oscars, but he was one of the highest paid actors ever. So just be yourself. Absolutely. He carried a lot of people along with him too, that he was able to bring along and just make into character actors in his regime. And what he did, just having simple little offers that were him. So
Yeah.
yeah, be yourself. And that doesn't mean you have to be the underdog. You can be, if you're really cool, be cool. If you're really awesome, be awesome. But if you're just really the underdog, then be the underdog and just be
Yeah.
it, as you mentioned, authentically. How do we sign
Yeah.
off this thing? We just say bye?
Yeah. I just click in
Or is there something
stream.
else
And
you want to do?
what's that?
Is there something else you want to talk about? Are we good?
I think we're good, buddy. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
on, man.
I was so grateful just to get a chance to catch up with you. That's been the highlight. And if anybody got anything on the little 3 or 4 tips we gave about just being cool and being yourself, that really is the secret sauce, guys. You can listen to people tell you all sorts of carefully guarded secrets. The carefully guarded secrets are be kind, be honest, and be helpful. There we go. That's it.
Pretty much everything you should learn in kindergarten.
Yep. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, brother. Take care, man.